this Dave Heeke story, and texting with a guy I know, this Dave Heeke story is a big, big deal at Arizona. It is shocking that Arizona has fired athletic director Dave Heeke. They're in disarray. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's been there since 2017. And I think you're in a position where now you're in absolute disarray. I don't think you have any way to keep continuity in a place where, remember, you're broke. And you're in a situation where you don't have a way out now. Dave Heeke has been your rock, and all of a sudden, he's not there. And all of a sudden, I don't know if he is the fall guy here. I don't know if you just wanted a change of direction. I think certainly the Sean Miller, recruiting violations, scandal stuff. I think certainly the instability in the football program. I think you're in a terrible way at Arizona. This is a huge, huge story. And I am very curious to see exactly how the Arizona Wildcats emerge from this.
Yeah, well, I mean, my top priority, looking at the situation would be to find, I mean, obviously you're going to have to hire an athletic director, of course, but my top priority would be getting the football program corrected, meaning we got to get our football program in a place where we can at least contend in this new conference. And the reason for that is not just the money situation, right? Even though that's, partially how you would fix that, but also so if your athletic department feels a little better. Because what did we learn out of the Pac-12 situation? Like, you look at Washington State, what did we learn? Hey, well, football pays for everything else, right? Football and at Arizona, basketball, those two together pay for, the chess club or all the non-revenue generating sports. So you get into a real tough position when your football program is not thriving. Your basketball team is doing the best it can, making tournament appearances, doing what it can do. But basketball money is not near what football money can be. And that's where I say, okay, you lost Jedd. You kept Noah Fafita, but you've lost some talent out of that program to Jedd Fisch. Now you got to go out and rebuild that thing and get it going as fast as possible. And if you do that, I think you have a chance. But honestly, Bobby Robbins is in a position where there is no breathing room now. You got to step in and say, this is how we're doing this, and then go out and find an athletic director. That is how I would do it.
You don't misplace $240 million and not pay the price.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying that's Dave Heeke. I just think in general, atmospherically speaking, when you look at, and for those of you who don't know the story, Arizona athletics riding high and mighty and going to the Big 12. And then Bobby Robbins, the president of Arizona, announced that there had been a mistake in accounting, and they thought they had $240 million more than they actually had on hand, and that they had been paying cash to run their athletic department because there had been budget shortfalls due to COVID and a lack of support from Arizona fans attending games.
Coronavirus.
Ticket sales and concessions have lagged. And you're in a situation now where, wow, you are in huge trouble.
But you see the vicious cycle not having strong football teams creates. Because if you have a strong football team, you've got concessions and tickets, and that stadium is a money maker for you, man. And again, great. Like Arizona's fortunate enough to have a strong basketball program, and they're doing things, and that's great. That's awesome. But basketball money pales in comparison to football money.
Yes, it does.
And yes, you're going to a new conference. You're going to get some shares out of the tournament. Like totally get it. But you gotta, I'm telling you, I'm convinced of this now more than ever after watching the Pac-12 meltdown. You have to be contending for the college football playoff on some level. And even, and obviously we're expanding now. We're going to a 12-team format. But even in the old format, the 14 format, you had to at least be a top 15 team to really be printing and making all that money. So to me, you look at Arizona, and it's a situation where, yeah, sure, accounting absolutely piped you. This is not what you needed. but you got to get your stuff back in line. And once you do that, then you can start looking at climbing out of this hole. But until that happens, until Bobby Robbins can convince a head coach that matters to come to Arizona, you're going to be in a real tough way there.
Yeah, I totally agree. By the way, all of our breaking news on the Monty Show presented by Prize Picks, your best daily fantasy option. Play every day on the Monty Show, and I have as much money as I have ever had in my Prize Picks account. Have been absolutely dominating. Now, my 6-game run, my 6-game win streak came to an end because Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy let me down.
Mm-hmm.
I had Brock Purdy for 2 touchdowns. He only had 1, and Christian McCaffrey needed 124.5 yards. He had 98. But I shall survive. How have you been doing on Prize Picks lately?
Pretty good. Broke my cold streak with those Call of Duty picks. That was clutch.
Won that.
Yeah. 3 out of 3 on Call of Duty. So now now we need to keep the streak going here.
So the Suns tonight in the NBA, I think, are interesting. Kevin Durant, DeMar DeRozan. The Lakers are hotly pursuing DeMar DeRozan and have cooled on DeJounte Murray and now have fixed themselves on trying to make a DeMar DeRozan deal. Which guy do you like better for the Lakers?
I would take DeMar. I think that DeMar is someone who, obviously from LA, of course, but I think DeMar is someone who gives you that next, hey, no doubt about it, can get a bucket when we need one guy. And to me, I watched this Laker team, and inconsistency just savages this team. Some nights AD is going ham and bullying guys and doing his thing, and he's been much better this year, no question about it. But you look at guys like D'Lo. D'Lo is a prime of don't know which D'Lo I'm getting. Prime example of don't know which D'Lo I'm getting. And so,
I agree.
You look at DeMar DeRozan, and DeMar's a guy where, yeah, sure. Is he going to have a bad night once in a while? Yeah, sure. But you can rely on him for 20 a night. No doubt about it. He can hit a big jumper if you need to. He certainly can spread the floor more than D'Lo does, in my opinion, because that's the big thing with D'Lo to me. And you look at a DeMar trade, he'd certainly have to be in it. Like, D'Lo struggles to spread the floor because he tries to play point guard, and that's his role on the team. But I just don't feel like he understands, hey, who am I playing with? Because if AD is on the floor, that's where the ball should be going. You got to run the offense through AD, and then you got to move off the ball. That's not D'Lo. D'Lo doesn't get that concept.
I agree.
And so, cool, all these highlights over the weekend of bounce alley-oops to Bron and wrap around, and that's all fine and dandy and everything. But what good is it? And so I like it a lot. I would go after DeMar for sure. A veteran, a shot maker, a playmaker, fits in on a LeBron James-led team. That is, if you can do that, I would absolutely do that. But there's also rumors that Miami's after DeMar, and he's kind of a hot target right now. So you're gonna have to move on him quick, I think, if you want him.
I think this is going to be one of the more interesting. This will be one of the more interesting trade deadlines. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how all of this plays out. Now, having said that, here are my Prize Picks for tonight. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching. Devin Booker, 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists against the beloved Chicago Bulls.
I like it.
I got more. Kevin Durant, 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I have less. And then Tatum and Luka tonight. I have 62.5 points combined. More or less, do you think? 62.5 points with Tatum.
Where is that? Is that in Dallas or is that in Boston?
I could not tell you.
We should look at that real quick.
That game, I'm pretty sure, is in Dallas, but I could be wrong. That game is in Dallas.
Yeah, I'd probably take more.
You'd take more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to require a big night from him to win.
Okay. I like it. There you go. $25 flex pick entry is entered. Now, last week we had a huge week on Prize Picks. Everybody is downloading the app and playing NBA with us. I think that's what it is. And the NFL playoffs on the weekends, phenomenal bridge. So get it done. And then get in our members only group. We share our picks every day. Let's hook it up.